Never eat turmeric with these 3 foods. You've been told turmeric is a miracle spice, nature's answer for everything from achy knees to a sharper mind. But what if combining this so-called miracle with 3 common foods, likely in your kitchen right now, could be setting you up for serious health issues? For those of us over 60, our bodies are more vulnerable. Research shows that certain combinations can not only cancel out turmeric's benefits but can actively cause problems, from a higher risk of bleeding to scary interactions with your medications. In this video, we're going to expose the 3 types of foods you must never eat with turmeric. I'll explain the science in plain English so you can protect yourself. But I won't just leave you with a warning. Stick with me to the very end, because that's when I'll reveal the simple swaps and pairings that unlock the true, safe, and effective power of turmeric. If you believe this is critical information, help me spread the word by tapping that like button. Before we get to the 3 pairings, we have to understand why this is so important for anyone over 60. Why could an interaction that's minor for a 30-year-old become a real health risk for someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s? It comes down to a few key changes in our bodies. First, our metabolism slows down. The liver and kidneys, our body's main processing plants, don't work quite as efficiently as they used to. This means compounds from food and supplements can stick around in our system longer and at higher concentrations, increasing the risk of side effects. Second, and this is a huge one, is that many of us are taking multiple medications for things like high blood pressure, diabetes, or arthritis. Each of these drugs has its own rules for how it works in the body. Introducing a potent compound like curcumin, the main active ingredient in turmeric, is like throwing a wild card into a carefully balanced game. It can interfere with how those drugs are absorbed or broken down, making them less effective or, in some cases, dangerously strong. Third, there's the issue of bioavailability. Curcumin, for all its benefits, is surprisingly hard for our bodies to absorb. This has led the supplement industry to create high-potency extracts, often using black pepper extract, piperine, to boost absorption by up to 2000%. While this sounds great, it's a double-edged sword. When you dramatically increase the curcumin in your bloodstream, you also dramatically increase the potential for it to interact with other things. The real risk here isn't the pinch of turmeric in your curry, it's these high-dose supplements. A review from France's Food Safety Agency, ANSES, specifically highlighted growing reports of adverse effects, like hepatitis, linked to these concentrated supplements. So, when we talk about dangerous food pairings, we're talking about creating combinations that can cause real harm. Understanding this context is the first step to protecting yourself. Now, let's get specific. The first category you need to be cautious with isn't a single food, but a group of popular health foods and supplements that all share a natural blood-thinning effect. This group includes kitchen staples like garlic and ginger, and popular supplements like ginkgo biloba. You're probably thinking, wait, those are all good for you. And you're right. On their own, in moderation, they are. The danger comes from something called a synergistic effect, when the combined effect of 2 substances is way more powerful than you'd expect. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, it can equal 5, or even 10. Here's the simple science. Your blood needs to be able to clot to stop bleeding. This is handled by tiny cells called platelets. Prescription blood thinners, like warfarin, Plavix, or even a daily aspirin, are designed to make this clotting process less sticky, to prevent dangerous clots that can cause heart attacks or strokes. Here's the critical part: turmeric, or more specifically curcumin, also has a natural antiplatelet effect. On its own, this effect is pretty mild. But if you are taking blood-thinning medication and you add a high-dose turmeric supplement, you're stacking one blood thinner on top of another. Then, if you throw in another natural one, like a strong ginger tea or a garlic supplement, you've created a cocktail that could thin your blood too much. This can show up as more frequent or larger bruises, nosebleeds that won't stop, or bleeding gums. In the worst cases, it can increase the risk of internal bleeding, which is a life-threatening emergency. This is why doctors tell patients on blood thinners to stop taking supplements like turmeric, ginger, and ginkgo at least 2 weeks before any surgery. The key here is dose and combination. That anti-inflammatory smoothie with a huge piece of ginger and a heaping teaspoon of turmeric? That could be a risk if you're on aspirin. The habit of taking turmeric capsules for your joints and garlic supplements for your heart. That's a dangerous mix. So, if you're on any blood-thinning medication, you must talk to your doctor before taking turmeric supplements. It's not about avoiding these healthy foods, but avoiding a dangerous accumulation of their effects, which primarily comes from concentrated supplements. This second category is one of the most overlooked, and it's critical for anyone over 60 on prescription meds. It's not one food, but a dangerous situation, combining high-dose turmeric with medications for diabetes and high blood pressure. Turmeric can act like a medication hijacker, messing with how your body handles these vital drugs. It all goes down in the liver, in what you can think of as the sorting and processing center for medications. This center uses enzymes, known as CYP450, to break down drugs so your body can use them and then clear them out. Your doctor's prescription dose is carefully calculated assuming this center works at a predictable speed. Well, curcumin can hijack the system. It can interfere with those enzymes. Let's look at 2 common examples. First, diabetes medications. Millions of people take drugs like metformin to manage blood sugar. These drugs work by lowering your blood glucose. Here's the catch, studies show turmeric can also lower blood sugar. Sounds good, right? Wrong. It's a recipe for hypoglycemia, or dangerously low blood sugar. Imagine you take your morning diabetes pill, and then an hour later, you have a smoothie with a high-dose turmeric supplement. The drug is lowering your sugar, and the curcumin is doing it too. Suddenly, your blood sugar plummets. You might feel shaky, dizzy, anxious, or break out in a cold sweat. In severe cases, it can lead to seizures or loss of consciousness, a true medical emergency. Second, blood pressure medications. Drugs like amlodipine or losartan are essential for many seniors. Research suggests curcumin can interfere with the liver enzymes that break these drugs down. This means your standard, safe dose could effectively become an overdose. The medication builds up in your system, and its effects are amplified, potentially causing a dramatic drop in blood pressure. This leads to dizziness, lightheadedness, and a much higher risk of falls, a major threat to independence for older adults. The list goes on. Turmeric can also interfere with acid reflux medications, potentially making heartburn worse, not better. The key takeaway is this: if you are on any prescription medication, you can't treat turmeric supplements like a simple spice. They are potent, biologically active compounds. Taking them without talking to your doctor is a gamble you don't want to take. This final category is what I call the organ overloaders, where combining turmeric with certain things can strain your liver and kidneys. This risk is scary because it can be silent, building up until real damage is done. Let's start with the liver. In recent years, a troubling, though rare, trend has emerged: cases of liver injury directly linked to high-dose turmeric supplements. We're not talking about minor issues, we're talking about severe hepatitis leading to hospitalization. The French health agency, ANSES, has reported over 100 adverse effects, including 15 cases of hepatitis, linked to turmeric supplements. A U.S. study also attributed a number of liver injury cases to turmeric. Researchers believe that in some susceptible individuals, the liver just struggles to process very high concentrations of curcuminoids, leading to inflammation and cell damage. The early symptoms are vague, fatigue, nausea, but can progress to jaundice and abdominal pain. Here's the connection: if you already have a condition that stresses your liver, like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and you add a high-dose supplement on top, you could be pushing a strained organ too far. It's critical to know these severe injuries are almost exclusively linked to concentrated supplements, not the small amounts of turmeric used in cooking. Now for the kidneys. The danger here is a compound called oxalates. Turmeric is fairly high in oxalates. For most of us, our kidneys filter them out with no problem. But for people who are prone to kidney stones, oxalates can bind with calcium in the urine and form sharp crystals. These crystals clump together and form the most common type of kidney stone, which can be agonizing. The risk comes from piling high oxalate turmeric on top of other high oxalate foods. Think of superfoods like spinach, rhubarb, beets, and nuts, especially almonds. So that healthy, green smoothie with a huge handful of spinach, a scoop of almond butter, and a tablespoon of turmeric powder? You might be creating an oxalate bomb. For someone with a history of kidney stones, this daily habit could be unknowingly building the next painful stone. Studies have confirmed that consuming turmeric can significantly increase oxalate levels in the urine. The rule is clear: if you have a history of liver or gallbladder problems, avoid high-dose turmeric supplements. And if you're prone to kidney stones, don't combine high-dose turmeric with other high-oxalate foods like spinach and almonds. After all these warnings, you might be tempted to toss your turmeric. Please don't. The goal isn't to demonize this ancient spice, but to use it intelligently. The anti-inflammatory and brain health benefits are real, but only when you access them safely. So, let's talk about the right way to do it. It's all about smart, powerful pairings. First, always pair turmeric with a healthy fat. This is the most important rule. Curcumin is fat-soluble, meaning it needs fat to be absorbed into your bloodstream. Eating turmeric stirred into water is mostly a waste. Making a curry. Use a base of olive oil or coconut oil. Whipping up a golden milk latte. Use full-fat milk or a creamy plant-based milk like full-fat coconut milk. Sprinkling it on veggies. Drizzle them with olive oil first. Adding it to a smoothie. Make sure you include a source of healthy fat like avocado, chia seeds, or flax seeds. Second, use the power of black pepper. This is the most famous trick for a reason. Black pepper contains piperine, a compound that works wonders. It temporarily tells your liver not to break down the curcumin so quickly. This allows curcumin to stay in your bloodstream longer and at much higher concentrations. How much higher? Studies show it can increase bioavailability by up to 2000%. You just need a small pinch of freshly ground pepper whenever you use turmeric. Third, a helpful ally, quercetin. If you want to take it a step further, look for foods rich in quercetin. This is a plant antioxidant that also seems to help protect curcumin and boost its absorption, though the evidence isn't as strong as it is for pepper. You can find quercetin in foods like onions, capers, apples, berries, and broccoli. Think about a curry made with turmeric and onions, or a salad with an olive oil and turmeric dressing sprinkled with capers. You're creating a natural synergy. Finally, supplements versus whole food. Given that most of the serious risks are tied to high-dose supplements, the safest bet for most people over 60 is to use turmeric in its whole food form. Use the fresh root or a quality organic powder in your cooking. This gives you a gentle, effective dose without the overwhelming potency of an extract. If you and your doctor decide a supplement is necessary, choose one from a reputable brand and never start without that conversation with your doctor first. By following these simple rules, pair with fat, add pepper, and prioritize the whole spice, you can make turmeric work for you, not against you. So, let's bring it all home. We've cut through the hype, and the path forward is clear. The idea that turmeric is a simple, foolproof miracle is a dangerous oversimplification, especially after 60. You've learned to avoid 3 critical combinations. First, the blood-thinning group. Avoid mixing high-dose turmeric with things like ginger and garlic, especially if you're on blood-thinning medication. Second, the medication hijackers. Be extremely cautious with supplements if you're on drugs for diabetes or high blood pressure. And third, the organ overloaders. Protect your liver and kidneys by avoiding high-dose supplements if you have pre-existing conditions and not overdoing it with other high-oxalate foods if you're prone to kidney stones. Most importantly, you now know that the answer isn't to fear turmeric, but to respect it. You know the secrets to unlocking its power safely. Combine it with a healthy fat and a pinch of black pepper, and prioritize the spice you cook with over the pills you swallow. You are now in control. You have the knowledge to turn turmeric from a hidden risk into a safe and effective tool in your health arsenal. If this video gave you a new, clearer perspective, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We release new videos every week packed with essential health tips and practical advice for our community. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had a surprising experience with turmeric or another supplement? Or do you have a favorite, safe way you love to cook with it? Please share your story in the comments below. Your wisdom could be the very thing that helps someone else watching today. Thank you for taking the time to invest in your health.